Welcome back to another week of the Counterfeit Emotions podcast. I'm Curtis Morley, and I'm an emotionologist. And I'm so grateful that you're joining us on this journey to find the one emotion that has no counterfeit, peace. Today, we've got Michael Anderson in the studio. So excited. He is a friend. He is someone that is doing good in the world. He's a therapist. He helps people with relationships, with addiction, recovery, with so many things. And today on the podcast, we're going to talk about some really important topics. We're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about not only love in relationships, but love and compassion for self. We're going to talk about how relationships develop. We're going to talk about some pretty amazing things. Michael and I have had some great, deep conversations. It's been fantastic. And I'm so excited to have him on the podcast. Michael, welcome.
Hey, welcome, Curtis. Or did I just welcome you to your own show?
Yeah, you did.
I meant to say thank you. Good. I'm glad. You should feel welcome. I meant to say thank you. Thanks for having me on. This is great to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We've had so many fun conversations, and it's so fun to see you on social media because I love your posts.
Oh, thank you.
Like, there's been so many posts where I see you with your family.
Oh, thanks.
And even on platforms like LinkedIn, and which is traditionally all business, you're very much willing to get out there and share a message of love, share a message of hope, share a message of understanding. And that's one thing I love about you.
Thank you.
Is that you embody the ideas around compassion.
Oh, wow. That means a lot coming from you. So thank you. I appreciate it. I hope what I share can bring some hope and just help people. We're all humans, right?
Yeah.
Like, no matter how polished we try and make ourselves look on social media and in front of people, like, we all have heartache, we all have struggle. And so we all just need love and compassion.
Yeah. And what brought you on your journey to become a therapist, to become someone that does this on a day-to-day basis?
It's funny. People ask me that, and I tell them it's not a very good story, honestly. It was, some people, they say things like, I knew from an early age I was going to be a therapist and help people, and that wasn't me. I kind of stumbled into it. I'm grateful I did. I was actually teaching. I had a couple of jobs before this, and most recently I was a seminary teacher. I was doing religious curriculum teaching.
That's awesome.
And it was awesome. Such a cool experience.
Where did you teach?
At Maple Mountain High School, mostly down in Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
It was just an incredible experience, and I knew that wasn't where I was supposed to end up. I just knew I wasn't settled there yet. There were some things that I just kind of felt like, I think there's something different I'm supposed to be pursuing. My wife was a family studies major at BYU, and I'd come home from work and she'd tell me all the cool things she was learning about marriage and parenting and family. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Maybe I should be a therapist. Maybe I should be a family therapist. And didn't really know much about what they did, other than they helped marriages and they helped families. And so I applied, went to school, went back to school, left seminary teaching, went back to school. And I remember like our first week kind of sitting there and it kind of dawning on me that I have no idea what a therapist does. I was like, what do I was like, everyone's,
you didn't even know.
Yeah, everyone's talking like everyone knows what a therapist does,
Yeah.
And I remember in between classes once leaning over, pulling someone aside, and in all seriousness, sincerity of my heart, going to them and being like, hey, real quick, can you just tell me what a therapist does? And them looking at me so what are you doing here?
Wait, aren't you in the program?
Yeah, you're in the program, right? You're not so this whole group of students just gathered around me trying to explain to me what a therapist did, and anyways, it was just funny. I didn't really know what to do, other than I knew I wanted to help marriages and families, and so that's the unflashy start to my story.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very vulnerable.
Yeah. I wish it was something glamorous. I had no clue what to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we've interacted through the Here Brotherhood retreats.
Yeah.
Which, shout out to the Here Brotherhood. They've got another retreat coming up, which is phenomenal. John Moore and Michael Allen.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Incredible men. So, yeah, they're awesome.
And yeah, I see you all over in in that field of helping people, and I know this is a very unfair question,
Sure.
but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Go for it.
Is in the time that you've been a therapist, what has been one of the most helpful things you've been able to share with people? Like if you were to take all of that, and I know I'm totally putting you on the spot.
No.
But if you were to take all of your learning and everything that you've developed, you've helped people through, what would be one of those things that you would say, you know what, this helps people more than anything else?
Yeah, it is a very unfair question.
It is.
But,
It totally is.
No, I think I really believe this. The more I do this work, the more I believe this with all my heart, that at the heart of all healing is self-acceptance.
Say that again. The heart of all healing
is self-acceptance.
Self-acceptance.
That's it. It's like, you want to heal your marriage? The heart of all healing is self-acceptance. You want to heal your relationship with your children? The heart of all healing is self-acceptance. You want to heal addiction, reactivity, whatever it is. It all comes down to self-acceptance, and just teaching people. I really feel like society has kind of sold us on this lie that there are things that are really good to feel and things that are really bad to feel. And we need to always just feel good all the time.
Yeah.
And what I believe in deeply is, and I try and tell clients all the time, is like, look, we don't use what you're feeling as a measure of how well you're doing. We use how open you are to what you're feeling as a measure of how well you're doing.
Ooh, let's dive into that.
It's just this idea of the more you can learn to stop running from yourself and just embrace yourself, embrace your humanity, the more you're going to heal things externally.
That fits so well with the whole framework of counterfeit emotions, because it's all about authenticity.
Right.
It's all about being your authentic self, and that emotional authenticity of saying, instead of saying, I have this one, I don't like this one. This emotion that's bubbling inside, I don't like you. You have to go over there.
Yeah.
And no, you're over there.
Yeah.
And there's a good one. I'll put that one in.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying, you know what, it's real.
It's real.
It's life. It's happening. And we can either ask, is it happening to us or is it happening for us?
Right.
Including the hard.
Right.
Including the pain. And so let's dive into that, because having love, having compassion, not only for others, but for self, I think gets to the heart of what you're saying of that self-compassion, that self-efficacy, that being able to see, hey, I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, and I was talking with a client once, and we were talking a lot about self-compassion and self-acceptance, and as we were talking, the thought occurred of just, really healing. If you want to talk about like what healing is, the human experience is that at some point in our life, we learned that we had to disown aspects of our humanity, that there are aspects of our own humanity that created disconnection, right? Parts of ourselves, emotions we felt that either got us punished or got us rejected, or we were told that those parts of you are not good. You need to change that in order to be accepted in this group. And healing is about going on a journey of learning how to just recollect and re-embrace these aspects of our humanity that we've felt the need to disown for years and years, right? And so that's just it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah. It reminds me of a scripture, actually, in Matthew chapter 5, verse, is it 40 or 42?
Just say it confidently, because I won't be able to check you. Whatever you say, I'll be like, yes, of course, that's what it is. Yeah.
It says, be therefore perfect, even as your Father which art in heaven is perfect. And I truly believe that's one of the most misunderstood scriptures in all of Scripture.
Yeah.
Is that if you look at the Greek and actually the Hebrew as well, very similar. Greek is teleos, for perfect, which doesn't mean infallible. It doesn't mean without mistake. It doesn't mean that I will never do anything wrong. It means whole. Be therefore whole. Be therefore complete. And when we, just like you said, we're trained that, oh, don't get angry. That's bad.
Right.
Don't feel this emotion. That's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all of a sudden have this real, authentic human experiences happening for us. And all of a sudden we're like, nope, I'm going to exile you. Right. You're out.
You're out. Yeah.
And I'm going to exile you. And we fracture our soul. And I believe part of the meaning of be therefore perfect, be therefore whole, is being able to be whole.
Yeah.
All of these pieces we've exiled or shunned from our lives, being able to accept them as part of the human experience.
Yeah.
Being able to say, you know what? Yeah, it hurts. Or yeah, I might have got mad. And that's real. Yeah. That's authentic. And I can transition that into something healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. As you were talking, the thought that occurred to me is I feel like Jesus has made it very clear that he wants us, imperfections and all, right? Like to him, it's just like come to me, right? Like integrating all of us to him. And really, like, isn't that what we're learning how to do with these parts of ourselves? To your point, right? Like wholeness does not mean does not mean without flaw. Yeah. Right? Perfection does not mean without flaw. It means wholeness. It means completion, right? And learning, can I learn how to go to these parts of me with the same love and compassion and acceptance that Jesus offers each and every one of us? That's the journey of internal healing right there.
Yeah. And I truly believe every single person on earth is perfect. Imperfectly imperfect. And that's how we're made. That's how we're meant to be, as flaws and all. This experience, it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
It's going to be perfectly imperfect, just the way it was meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pains, the trials, the strife, and all of it. It's what we're meant to go through, because there's no faster, more efficient way to grow than through pain.
Yeah.
Pain is the number one. It is the best way to grow. And the trick is, the paradox is, we get to choose.
Yeah.
Pain comes in and we get to say, okay, am I going to grow from this, or am I going to grumble?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I going to become better, or am I going to become bitter? And it's not a guarantee that when we feel pain, we grow. It's not. It's a guarantee that we get to make a choice of whether we grow or whether we actually go backwards.
Well, I think what you're saying is really important, because, one of my all-time favorite books is a book called Man's Search for Meaning.
Yes.
By Viktor Frankl.
Yes.
It's so good. Because I think, here's why I love it. Because I think when you and I talk about this, I think sometimes people can listen to it and can mistakenly think what we're saying is something along the lines of toxic positivity, right? Yeah. Find the good in everything. You go, and don't talk about how negative things are. Like, find the good in it, And what's cool about his experience, as right, is Viktor Frankl talks about this idea of, those who actually, the people who experience the horrors and the atrocities of the concentration camps,
of Auschwitz,
right? Yeah. He, as Viktor Frankl was observing them, he realized, like, those who found, those who were able to flourish, both in the camps and afterwards, right? Versus those who lost the will to live and died. The first group found meaning in their experience. They didn't find positivity in their experience.
Yeah.
They found meaning in it, right? They looked at, like what you said, they instead of pushing it away, they pulled it closer, and they said, what is this going to mean about me? And that's very different from toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the difference is, toxic positivity says there's pain, push that down and put a smile on, and don't address the pain.
Right.
Push that pain down, don't address it, but smile anyway.
Right.
Versus the compassion of, yeah, this hurts.
This hurts.
This really hurts. And sometimes the pain hurts so much, it can drive us to our knees.
Right.
It can have us weeping on the floor. And that pain is so deep, and not ignoring it, I believe that's another way to shun it.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to exile that feeling is just to suppress.
Mm-hmm.
But instead embracing and say, yeah, this hurts.
Mm-hmm.
This hurts so deeply. And because of that, I know I get a chance to grow.
Yeah.
I know I get a chance to become more and actually look at it as a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
That pain is a gift. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean we don't have to feel it. It doesn't mean, peaches and rainbows and,
Right.
It means this sucks.
Right.
It really, really does. And this pain, this suck, this hurt is a gift.
Well, I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but I mean, that's freedom right there. Right. And I remember there's a part in the book where Viktor Frankl realizes that in that way, when you approach pain, integrate it in that way, he realized that he was actually more free than the Nazi guards guarding him. Right.
Yeah.
Because he had made a choice about what this suffering was going to mean about him. And because he had that agency, the power of choice, it made him free. And I think it's so beautiful. It's just an amazing perspective.
Yeah. If you look at Viktor Frankl, if you look at Nelson Mandela, you look at so many people, Gandhi went through similar experience. And each of them, they didn't say these words exactly, but each of them came to the same conclusion, that there is no real prison besides the prison in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That even being in Auschwitz, even being in prison for decades like Nelson Mandela, they weren't prisoners unless they became prisoners in their own mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it relates to everything. It bleeds into everything. It bleeds into marriage, bleeds into parenting, it bleeds into your own individualities. This is it. The heart of all healing is self-acceptance. Like, I believe it with all my heart.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that is so important. So let's dive deeper into that.
Okay.
If that's the heart of all healing is self-acceptance, how do we do that? How do we have that level of self-acceptance where we don't think of life as a burden, but we realize the truth of life? Like, how do we accept ourselves to that point where we're like, yeah, it's time to heal?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny because in the work I do, I work primarily with men, right? And a lot of times, the men, we're not taught to feel and process what we're feeling, right? We're taught to push it away. We're taught to be tough, right? We're taught to not lean in for support, right? But to withdraw. And so sometimes, I talk with men, there can be a little bit of resistance, this idea of the healing. The heart of all healing is just to love myself. Like, come on, I was like wanting a new workout routine, or like, or like, give me another book to read or something, And so, and so what I tell guys, I'm like, look, the only thing worse than not having self-love is trying to fake self-love. So don't try and fake it, right?
Ooh. Whoa, that is a podcast all by itself. That
Sure.
one statement, holy cow. Right. We have to dig into that.
Well, it's just like, it just reinforces so much shame and battling and helplessness to try and force self-love, right?
Yeah.
It's just like I would rather somebody really actually just be real with where they're at, right? It's like, I don't love myself right now. Because then we can actually do something with it, than to just live a life of trying to force it all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Authenticity of, you know what? Let's look at what's real. Let's look at what's right now.
Yes.
And not pretend, I know the shoulds. I think that's such a damaging word.
Right.
I know the shoulds of I should love myself. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't feel this. I should feel that. No, just be real and say, it's what is.
Yeah.
What is that, you know what? Today I may not love myself.
Right.
Okay. That's truth.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I need to surround that with. That is truth. And I'm hitting it square on.
Which is beautiful in and of itself, that you landed on truth, right?
Yeah.
Truth is always beautiful, even if it's hard. And so what I tell men, I was like, if for anybody that has this type of kind of reservation around like, well, I don't love myself and it feels weird to love myself, right? What I say, look, then we're not going to try and force that. What I'm going to ask you to start with is curiosity.
Mm,
I think curiosity is the most powerful word in the English language.
really.
Oh yeah, like totally, 100%.
It's so funny. I've said it on this podcast so many times that curiosity is one of the most transcendent emotions
Oh,
we
there
can
you go.
feel.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of many things that was we've talked about, we're like we feel the exact same way on. Like that's
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
because curiosity gives us permission to maybe for the first time ever just notice and observe what is without judgment,
Yeah.
without having to make a judgment call, without having to fix it right away.
Yeah. And this is so key because suspicion is the counterfeit of curiosity.
Hmm.
And oftentimes when I share this with people, they're like, oh, I can see that how that relates with an interpersonal relationship, like my relationship with my spouse or my kids, or, okay, I'll stop being suspicious. But very rarely do they point the finger back and
Inward.
say, oh, wait, I need to stop being suspicious with myself
Yeah.
and let go of the counterfeit and just be curious.
Be curious.
Just say, what is it that I'm truly feeling? And be okay with that.
Yeah. And if you can't be okay with it, then at least just practice making room for it, right? Just
Ooh, dig deeper on that.
well, it's
Yeah.
like there's a difference between, someone saying like I'm at peace with this and I'm okay with it versus saying this is really hard, this is really uncomfortable, but for the first time in my life, I'm just going to try not fighting it anymore. I'm going to try just letting it be there and just seeing if it's as monstrous and destructive as I'm afraid it is, right? And so that's where I invite men to start is like, can you just start looking at these parts of you with curiosity? Because as you get curious, you're going to start to get to know these parts of you. And as you get to know these parts of you, then compassion naturally starts to come in, right? It's the same externally, right? I can judge somebody, but once I know their story, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That old saying, to love me or to know me is to love me.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
You cannot truly know someone without loving them.
Right. Right. Why would it be any different with the internal world, right? I mean, I think honestly, I think this idea of self-love gets like overfluffed, right? And I think there's a lot of toxic ways to look at self-love. And I don't think self-love is talking about, I always feel good about myself, right?
Yeah.
I deserve to be on the beach, soaking in the sun and just love. I just think I'm awesome all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's self-love, right?
Yeah.
I think that's again a form of avoidance of what's actually happening inside of us. I think of self-love the same way I think of how I love my family. So I've got 3 just amazing, beautiful children who also coincidentally sometimes drive me nuts, right? and can be frustrating at times, right?
Yeah.
And can make me really scratch my head and just say, what is happening, right? And there are times I get to the end of the day and I just want to scream or cry into my pillow, you know what I'm saying? Just like, this is so hard, right? And two multiple things can exist at the same time. There's this desire to hold them and be with them, and there's so much fulfillment in being with them, and I love them.
Yeah.
Even with the hard, right? And it doesn't, I don't always have warm feelings towards them, but I always just have this love and this desire to be there for them and with them and nurture them and lead them. And I think that's what real self-love is. Self-love is actually going on a journey of getting to know the individual parts of you that are hard to be with sometimes, hard to sit with. It's not just always feeling good about these parts. Some parts I feel really bad about. I have lots of hard feelings about. But can I actually sit with them with the same love, openness, and compassion that I try and extend to my own children, right? Like, I think, and as you learn how to do that with all these parts of you, that's really what self-love is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes so much sense. I call it taking our demons to lunch.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
And this plays into addiction recovery as well. As the sobriety mindset is And you have these emotions, they keep bubbling up, they keep, surfacing over and over again, and I'm pushing them down.
Yeah.
And sobriety teaches us, just push them down. We're going to give you all these tools to suppress your emotion or even repress your emotion.
Just make it another day. Just go another day.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah. White knuckle, you can do this, push them down. We're going to add all these weights to help you push down these emotions. And that's sobriety. That's not recovery.
Yeah.
Recovery says, you know what? He's there for a reason. This demon inside your soul, and I don't mean literal demons, but this emotional demon.
Yeah.
The reason he keeps coming up is because you haven't been listening.
Yeah.
And it's time to take him to lunch. It's time to pull him out of your soul. Stop pushing him down. Pull him out.
Yeah.
Sit down with him. Look at him across the table. Pay the bill.
Yeah.
Go to sushi.
Yeah.
Like have a lunch as if you were a friend.
Yeah.
And say, help me understand what you're trying to teach me.
Yeah.
Help me understand why you keep coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Because large life lessons linger until they're learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until we pull them out, look at them in the eyes and ask the question, what are you trying to teach me?
Yeah. I was one of the first clients that ever worked with on pornography recovery. It's interesting because I was learning about this and trying to figure out how to apply this in my work with helping men with pornography recovery. And he said, he'd always hated this part of him. It cost him dearly. He had gotten kicked out of his house. He had almost cost him his marriage. His wife almost divorced him. By the time him and I started working together, he had been able to move back in, but trust was damaged, and he just was like, I've hated this part of me. It's ruined so much of my life. And I asked him if he was just willing to get curious with it. Like, hey man, are you willing to just be curious with this part of you and just listen to it? Take him to lunch, so to speak. And I remember he'd closed his eyes and he was just listening to this part of him. It sounds to someone listening to this podcast, this might sound kind of foreign, but what I have my clients do is I actually have them like be still and just listen to these parts of them, like ask them questions, like eyes closed, have an internal dialogue with these parts of themselves. Deeply powerful.
Yeah.
And he just started getting emotional. He was listening to this part of him, and he said, "Oh, this part of me is so tired."
Mm.
And I was like, ask him to tell you more. What does he mean? And he said, I'm seeing a young boy who was always told he wasn't good enough. I'm seeing a young boy who's always criticized, who's always compared to, who's always pushed away. And this part of me has been working to protect that little boy for years. And he just started crying. Like, that's not a monster inside of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we take our demons to lunch, we realize they're not demons.
Yeah.
They're the Curtis of yesterday, the Michael of yesterday.
And they need us.
They need us. Yeah. That's so beautiful. And it resonates so deeply. There were parts of me as I was going through my journey that were so tired.
Yeah.
So tired that I just wanted to rest.
Yeah.
And I wasn't letting myself. I kept those inside. I kept pushing them down, saying, no, I don't want to look at you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to even believe that you're part of me. I don't want that. But then once I was able to pull them out and look at them in the eye and realize there's a little boy that just wants to rest.
Yeah.
That's when I was able to start healing myself.
Yeah. Like, back to your first question of like, if there's one thing, if I could actually say two things, right? Let's keep the thing about self-acceptance, but say another thing.
You can do two or three or four.
It's what you're saying. It's that I wish everybody knew like really knew, like deeply felt and understood that all the parts of themselves that they're just convinced are monsters inside of them are actually just like young parts of them that are scared.
Yeah.
They're just hurting.
Yeah.
They need you to run to them.
Instead of away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite definition of trauma is very simple. It's so simple. It's just an experience that our brain couldn't understand, couldn't comprehend at the time.
Yeah.
And at the time is key to that definition.
Yeah.
Because now we can.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can understand it. We can put meaning behind it, and we can go back and hold that little boy.
Yeah.
And wrap him up in our arms and say, this is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
This is so hard.
So hard.
And can I share something with you about it?
Please.
And just hold that child.
Yeah.
And have that conversation until he feels heard.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that our emotions, that's one of the big motivation behind all of our emotions, is they want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Even the counterfeit emotions. And sometimes people think, oh, counterfeit emotions are bad. No, they're just emotions that want to be heard.
Yeah.
That every single one of them brings a message. The trouble is when we let the messenger become a dictator.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And we can interrupt that. We don't have to let them be the ones that are driving the charge. We can say, hey, I got the message. I've got the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to open it right in front of you. So you know I'm going to be paying attention to this. And it's like the one that is really concrete around this. One of the dyads of counterfeit emotions is advocacy versus anger.
Mm.
That anger brings this message. Anger says there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's only two reasons anyone will ever feel anger, ever. Danger,
mm-hmm.
which is real.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the stick, poke the bear in the eye.
Yeah.
Like use the anger for self-protection.
Yes.
Or injustice.
Right.
That's it. And we can either turn anger or injustice into anger, or we can use that same motivational power that anger brings. Anger brings energy.
Right.
Anger brings this need to move. And
right.
it brings this message in a well-packaged envelope that says, it's time to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can turn that to advocacy, anger says, oh, thank you.
Right.
I see you're going to do something about this.
Right.
But as long as you're not, as long as you're going to repress and push this down, as long as that's the case, I need to keep screaming because there's something that needs to be done.
Yes.
And advocacy does that. Advocacy says, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
This is an injustice. There does need action
mm-hmm.
added to this. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And anger's like, whew. Okay, right on. I'm going to be back here. If you need me, let me know. I'll bring the energy. I'll bring the motivation. Let's go. But hey, you got it from here. We're good.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's how all of the counterfeit and authentic emotions work, is that it just wants to be heard. And as soon as it knows you're going to address it, like any of the pairs, pain and misery, another great example is that it says there's pain. And I need to address the pain. And the purpose of pain is that it drives us to action.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of pain is that it gets us to do something. It moves us. And misery is actually trapping that pain inside.
Yeah.
It says, well, not really. But as soon as we address it, as soon as we strip it away and we say, you know what? I'm going to look at the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's no more need for misery.
Yeah.
As long as we get to the heart of the pain, there's no need to add the sludge and tar of misery on top of that.
Right.
But when we don't, when we're like, nope, I'm going to take this pain that came into my life, came into my body, and I'm going to shove it down in that steel box in my heart.
Yep.
And I'm just going to lock it down, clamp it. I'm going to make sure chains around the chest, like it is not getting out. That's when we're like, oh, wait, that's not enough.
Right.
Now we have to add misery to it.
Yeah.
But as soon as we address the pain, misery's like, okay, I'm not needed here.
Yeah.
I don't need to be here
Yeah.
because there's no more pain.
That's right. Yeah. It's funny. I was talking to your point. It's like sometimes people will ask, like, and they usually say this in jest, like they don't actually think this is it, but they're like, so what do you want me to like feel my anger more? Do you want me, so you want me to just like yell at my kids? I'm feeling my anger. This is me feeling it. You know?
Right.
And,
Right.
and we laugh and I say, no, like, look, like actually, ironically, the reason why we scream, right? The reason why we lose leadership over anger is actually because of an unwillingness to feel it. And
oh, I felt that when you said that. Wow.
Right.
That's so real.
And if you ever want to test it, next time you get angry, just sit there and don't do anything, and you'll realize it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to feel it. You want to release it, right? You want to just yell. You want to scream. You want to be powerful, right? It's a way of release. And so I said, actually, anger in and of itself, right? The more we actually allow ourselves to feel it and let it actually be there without having to release it or push it away or whatever, the easier it is to actually engage in advocacy, right?
Yeah.
And so, same with sadness, right? Okay, I'm just gonna be sad, so I'm just gonna stay in my room for 3 days watching Netflix and eating ice cream because I'm sad, and you're telling me to feel my sadness. Like, no, the more capable you become at feeling your emotions, the easier it actually is to take leadership over them and do something with them. And emotions are meant to teach us to move towards real connection, right? That's their point.
Yeah.
And so anyways, just wanted to add that little piece there.
I love that. And I think that's so critical. Thank you for adding that, because if you look at the 4 criteria of whether or not an emotion is counterfeit or authentic, the first criteria is connection.
Right.
Does it connect?
Right.
Does it connect me with self, with others, with God, and with truth? Like, does it connect in all those ways? If yes, then yeah, it's authentic. And if not, well, then there's a really good chance it's counterfeit.
Yeah.
And it's like love and lust. Love is the great connector. Lust disconnects so fast because it turns people into objects. Lust takes a human with a beautiful soul and says, nope, you are now nothing more than a book or a lamp or that's all you are.
Yeah.
You're something to.
You're an object.
You're an object.
Yeah.
And in that same way that you just described, we can let go of lust in the same way is just sitting. And the thing that I love to imagine specifically about emotions is the cloud analogy of sitting, or not sitting, laying on a grassy hill on a summer's day and looking up at the sky and saying, oh, there's a cloud. Oh yeah. It comes into view and you're like, huh, it's kind of puffy. Yeah. It's kind of, it's a cute little cloud. Oh, that cloud is excitement. Right. And it flows through the view. But then all of a sudden there's a dark cloud. And that dark cloud may be fear. It may be doubt. It may be anger. It may be lust. Whatever it is. But instead of acting on it, just watch it. Yeah. Just take a deep breath and just watch. Just see that come in and say, oh, hey, anger. Hey, I know you. We've been friends for a long time. Yeah. Hey, anger. And just watch it. And the research shows that most emotions last on average about 90 seconds. Yeah. And if we can just breathe through it and just watch it, then the cloud will float through our view and it'll pass on the horizon. Yeah. And then it's done. And we can go, oh, there it is. Yeah. And actually, I just, literally yesterday, I read an article of, had a great hook on it. It was something like the number 1 attribute of mentally healthy people. Oh, interesting. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, gotta see what that one is. Yeah. So, how healthy I am. Clickbait. Here we go. Yeah. And in this article, they said that the number 1 thing was the ability to feel an emotion without acting on it. Yeah, that's it. And I was like, that's it. It's just watching that cloud float through
That's right.
and feeling it, letting the feeling happen
Yeah.
while you sit in the stillness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not let the feeling happen and then all of a sudden rage monster and, you're dude perfect on these guys
Yeah.
with the, and it's like, no, it's okay. Here it comes. I don't have to do anything with this. I don't have to do anything with anger besides feel it.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything with lust besides feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I can just feel it and do no actions.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that 90 seconds is the refractory period, which is a period of deciding, am I going to take that emotion, switch it into a mood, or am I going to take that emotion and let it go?
Interesting. That's really cool.
And when we can do that, all of a sudden, the emotion's not leading. The emotion is not the one in control. It's not the dictator. The emotion is just a friend.
Yeah.
Bringing a message.
Yeah.
And we can see it as a friend. Like, thank you. Thank you so much for seeing that I'm angry. Why? Oh, yeah. There was this injustice that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. What can I do about that? How can I advocate for myself and others in this injustice?
Yeah.
And one thing that's so beautiful is the word advocate. You cannot say advocate against with proper English. The two words can't be put together. You can say fight against.
Right.
But you can only say advocate for.
Yeah.
Meaning that I'm going to advocate for you just like I'm going to advocate for me.
Yeah.
Whereas anger is the opposite. Anger says, no, I'm going to fight against you.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight against this cause.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm going to invite you in.
Yeah.
I'm going to advocate for getting rid of this injustice, but we're going to do it together. We're not enemies.
Yeah.
We're partners in this.
Partners.
Let's do it together.
That's cool. I love it. It's not flashy. It's like people want something big to do for their mental health, Everyone's looking for a new routine or a new hack. And I'm just like, honestly, just learn how to slow down and love yourself. Like, learn how to just invite these emotions in, invite these parts of you in.
Wow.
That's it.
How can we share that message with the world? Like, when you said that, I felt the power of it. Like, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Is just spend time in the stillness.
Yeah.
And let the emotions come.
Yeah. One thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is I personally believe that we as humans exist in one of two states: reactivity or creativity. Mm-hmm. Personally, I believe that me, you, everybody has a divine spirit inside of them. We've got divinity in our DNA.
Amen.
The supreme creator, right, created us, and we've had that same capacity for creation. Yeah. And we're either in a state of reactivity or creativity. And what I mean by that is, I notice that when I'm like still and slow, I can actually do pretty amazing things, right? Like when I create space in my life to just slow down, I treat my body healthier. I treat other people in better ways. I work on my goals. I work on things, but yet me and so many of us, we just live in the state of reactivity. We're always trying to run away from ourselves through our phones, through food, through whatever it is, always staying busy. Like we don't know how to just be still with ourselves. And we think, how come I never hit my goals? I can never stay consistent. You don't need a new routine. You don't need to read another self-help book. You just need to actually create space in your life. Just like slow down. Just slow down and just be with yourself in a compassionate way. And you will naturally start to create beautiful things in your life. So I think that's important.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings about that is that fretting on the future fuels fear. Perplexing on the past produces pain. Only the present provides peace and power.
It's awesome.
When we can get into the present, when we get into this moment of now, instead of projecting all the what ifs of the future or all the, how could I have failed in so many ways of the past? Just saying, you know what's true right now? Yeah. What's real right now? And just spending that time in the stillness. And I'd love to hear ways that you share with others how to get into the stillness. For me, one of the best ways, like talking about that 90 seconds
Yeah.
of here comes an emotion, is that I do deep breathing when I
Yeah.
feel that. And it's 90 seconds, which means I breathe in for 5. And on the last breath, so I do it like this. I sit down, here comes the emotion. I'm like, okay. And I breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the last breath, I do a quick inhale.
Oh, yeah.
Because most of us don't actually get to the bottom of our lungs when we breathe. Like 99% of humans, we breathe so shallowly.
Yeah.
And when you breathe in that really quick burst of air on number 5, then all of a sudden it's like, it fills the balloon.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, hey, these ones are going right into the bloodstream.
Yes.
And so I breathe in for 5, then I hold it, and then I breathe out for 4.
Love it. Yeah, that's great.
Excuse me. Sorry. 4 and then 5, because you always want to breathe out longer.
Longer exhale than inhale.
Than the inhale.
Yeah.
Which tells the parasympathetic state of our bodies that we're okay.
Yeah, because if you're being chased by a bear, that's not how you're going to be breathing.
No.
Right?
No.
So we got to show our nervous system that we're safe.
So I breathe in 4, the deep breath on that 4th, or the quick burst of breath, and then hold and then breathe out. And that's 9 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Well, I do that 10 times. And all of a sudden I'm done. And then it's like, oh, you know what? That wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, huh. Okay.
You realize you live to tell the tale, right? Like, yeah.
But what are other practical ways that people can get into the stillness that you've seen to be effective? What are things that you've done or you've helped your patients with?
Yeah. So I think that is an amazing exercise. I think that's an amazing practice. One practice that I love to do as far as like stillness with emotions, right? And just being there is what I call the notice, name, nurture. So I call it as if I invented it. I don't know if I invented it. I don't think this might be something very popular, right? But notice, name, nurture. So whenever an emotion hits, step 1 is noticing it, right? And actually calling it out using the language like, oh, I'm noticing I'm feeling anger. I'm noticing I'm feeling afraid, right?
So writing the name of the emotion.
Yeah, and how it feels in your body. Like, I'm noticing I feel like a tension in my chest, a sinking in my stomach. I'm noticing, right?
Yeah.
The phrase I'm noticing just really helps to just collect the emotional experience, kind of gets you back into the frontal part of your brain.
Yeah.
And then name, which is once I've noticed it, I like to actually visualize this as a part of me, right? Picture it younger.
Like in your body or a part of your history, or how do you do that?
So it can do whatever resonates most with others. I've had people do any of that, but like for me personally, like literally just close my eyes and just picture this part of me in that emotion as if he's just like right there. Maybe he's younger, right? Maybe he's always at least a little bit younger than me, right? But maybe he's really young. Maybe he's like a teenager or whatever. And I just name him, right? I was like, oh, like, hey, this is my scared part of me, right? Or this is my lonely part. Some people will get creative, right? Oh, this is Bob, right? Like, whatever you want to call it, right? Like name him.
Mine's Theo.
Theo.
Yeah.
Okay, Theo. Right? Like we just, when we notice them, we name them, we picture them there, and then we nurture them. We just like, it's like going and give that part a hug, or I listen to it. It's like, tell me what you need to tell me, right? Give them a hug, sit with them for a little bit. You do that. That's a vastly different way to respond to these emotions than most people do. Most people are like, I don't want to feel that. Let me go to my phone, right? Let me go to food. Let me push away. Let me scroll. Let me just know that, right?
Doom scroll. Yeah.
But you take 90 seconds to 2 minutes to notice, name, and nurture. It's pretty transformative. It's pretty cool.
I love that. Do you have people do that with a journal, or do it in the
journaling is
notes
huge.
app of their phone, or what do you?
I encourage people as much as possible, if they are journalers, to don't do it in their phone, to do it pen and paper.
I love that.
It's just different. Yeah. The way your brain encodes it and wires it and processes it is just so different versus tapping it on a screen. And so journal it. If you can't journal right then, that's okay. Just be present with it in the moment, right? But yeah, whatever works best in that moment for them.
And so the 3 steps are name it,
notice it,
notice it, name it,
nurture it. Yeah.
Okay.
Notice it.
Notice, name, nurture.
Feeling lonely. Name it. Oh, there he is. There's my lonely part. And naming it also includes like picturing it, seeing it, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actually calling it out, like, hey, what's up, Theo? Right? What's up, Bob?
Hey,
Or like
Theo.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's
Yeah.
it going? And then nurture it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that so
Yeah.
much.
It's helpful. It's been really helpful for me.
Yeah. And I know with your work, you do a lot of couples and relationship healing as well.
Yeah. Not as much as I used to. But I used to do quite a bit of couples therapy.
Okay.
Now I mostly work with individual. Now I mostly work with men with pornography recovery. That's what I specialize in.
Thank you for doing that work.
Oh, it feels like such a privilege.
That's
I mean, you're in the same, you do the same work. I mean, you get to meet some of the best men
yeah,
of all time.
they really are.
Like
They're incredible.
they floor me, just like you. Which is, I think these men think like if I struggle with this, I'm really bad. I'm really gross. And was it another podcast of yours or whatever? Someone was making a comment where it's like everything's so dark and shameful around it, right? Like you watch like an ad for porn recovery and everything's
Yeah.
blacked over and it's like, oh, it's like dark and scary. But I'm like, I'm like, this is awesome work. Like, these men are incredible. Like
it's holy work.
It's holy work. It's like you guys.
Yes.
I tell them all the time, like, just so you guys know, you guys are doing sacred work. Like this is so cool. Thank you for letting me be part of it, and it's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I know like your posts online are a lot of them are about your family, a lot of them about our relationships. And those are my favorites. Just FYI,
Oh,
just
good.
so you
Good to
know,
know.
those are the ones that I love to put a little like or heart by.
Oh, cool.
And let's talk about like in relationships, how important is the healing part of that journey? And maybe I can ask it in a different way. Like with relationships, one thing that I've found is that when two healed people come together, that's when they can experience true love. But two people that are struggling or they don't want to feel their emotions or they're not willing to address the trauma in their lives, when they come together, there's not the connection.
Yeah.
There's this massive disconnection, and the more they try, it seems the more they bounce off.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's huge. So I call it the flashlight effect. I tell people, I said the hardest part about relationships is that it shines a light on your deepest wounds, your deepest insecurities, right? Especially our deepest wounds are usually rooted in attachment injury, right? Attachment science, attachment trauma. And so our romantic relationships and our parent relationships with our kids or with our parents, it'll just shine a light on those wounds if we haven't dealt with them. And so couples usually, it's impossible to connect when you're in self-protection mode, right? When your wounds are activated and your wounds are activated, right? And we get into self-protection mode, you can't connect with each other, which is why the heart of all healing is self-acceptance, right? The more you actually learn how to go inside and heal these wounds and offer these parts of you the love and the acceptance that they've been needing all the time with you, right? Like you're good with me. Everyone else could reject us and hate us, but I love us, right?
Yeah.
Then you can finally start changing how you show up in your marriage, in your relationship, right? Because then your partner's stuff doesn't activate those insecurities anymore. Or if it does, you've learned how to take leadership over them, right? And love yourself. And therefore then you can see your partner differently too, right? Instead of the big bad in the relationship, you see your partner as, oh, you have wounds too.
Yeah.
Like you're hurting.
You're human.
You're human. You're hurting.
Real. You're authentic.
And I want to show up for you now.
Yeah.
Like I want to hold those young parts of you and love them. Sometimes one of my favorite things to do, it always makes couples feel uncomfortable, but I do it anyways because I'm sick and twisted and I love it. They turn towards each other. When one's been doing some deep work, like getting to know this like younger wounded part of them, at the end of the session, I'll have them turn towards each other and I'll ask the other partner to stare into that partner's eyes and said, now I want you to do something different though. Instead of looking at her or him, I want you to look at that young girl or I want you to look at that young boy that they just spent 30 minutes working with. And I just want, will you just express to your partner, how do you feel towards that young girl? Or how do you feel towards that little boy? And it's just beautiful, right? Like, it's like, I just love him. I just want to hold him. I just want to hold her.
I feel that.
You know?
I feel that.
Like, it's just, But you can't do that if you're in self-protection mode. You have to heal yourself. You have to go and do this work on internally so that you can show up in a state of leadership and groundedness, right?
Yeah.
For your partner.
Yeah. True love is found when I let go of the belief that without my love, without my Patty, that I'm less and deficient.
Mm-hmm.
And with her, I understand that together we're more.
Yeah.
But without her, I'm not less.
Yeah.
Without her, I'm still whole. And there's almost a paradox in that wait, you're whole, but you're more? And the truth is, yes, that I love Patty so much. And at the same time, I'm not less without her.
Yeah.
That I'm okay. I don't have to have her in my life. Do I want her in my life? Oh man, do I ever?
Yeah.
Holy cow, yes. Do I need her? No.
Yeah.
And with her in my life is so much more beautiful. And there's so many more colors, and it's so wonderful. And that's the paradox that I think that is sometimes hard to find, is that, oh wait, I don't have to be dependent on another person for my happiness, for my worth, for my anything. That no, I've got that here, and I've got that here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. I mean, it reminds me of a story. I don't know how we're doing on time. I don't know if we have enough time.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
It reminds me, I was working with a couple once, who, the man was saying, I get really upset internally. He knew he wasn't like being entitled or anything. He's a really humble, like awesome dude. He's like, I just noticed I get so upset, like when my wife doesn't want to have sex with me. And she's like, and I'm like, I need her to engage with me physically and sexually so that it helps me feel like I'm enough.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Right? It helps me feel like I'm wanted and I'm desired. And it sucks being in a marriage where I don't feel wanted and desired. And to his undying credit, I said this to him and he just like took it in, and it was so cool for him to see him. But he's like, I was like, listen, can I tell you something that's gonna be kind of hard to hear, but you got to hear it. And he's like, what? And I'm like, when you say that I need my wife to engage with me sexually in order to feel enough, what you're actually saying is you have spent years of your life never knowing how to accept yourself and be enough for yourself. You don't know how to do that, and so you rely on your wife to do that. But that type of anxious energy in a marriage is actually pushing your wife away even more. Because I don't know if you know this, but there's nothing less sexy than coercion, right?
So unsexy.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm forced to do that. Like, if he's gonna be so mad at me if I don't, like, it's not sexy at all. Like, that's not right. But like, so I'm like, the more you can actually learn how to just love and accept yourself, you set her free to now choose you, rather than to be forced to choose you, right? And that's powerful. And so he just like took it in. He's like, I've never loved myself before. He's like, that was like his realization.
Oh, wow. And he said it out loud.
He said it out loud. He's like,
wow.
Whoa. And anyways, it's just cool. He started going on this journey of actually learning how to accept himself. It was really cool. But
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Michael, thank you so much for joining us on the Counterfeit Emotions podcast. And there is one emotion that has no counterfeit, and that's peace. And I would love to know where Michael Anderson finds peace.
Well, what's cool about peace is I personally don't think peace is necessarily the absence of anything hard, right?
Yeah.
Peace is the absence of conflict. And so I find peace in the moments when, to bring this whole conversation full circle, I practice acceptance of what is. You can invite the hard in and not be at conflict with it. And just authentically embracing all these parts of ourselves that are hard. But saying, I can accept this, I can be with this. I don't have to be in conflict with it. And that's huge. practically also, I find lots of peace Friday night movie nights with my family, eating ice cream and pizza.
Ice cream and pizza.
So there's the deep answer, and then just Michael Anderson answer: pizza, ice cream, movie night with the kids and the family.
There we go.
That's peace right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us on the journey to self-acceptance, to understanding what's going on with your emotions, and to find that one emotion that has no counterfeit, peace. Until next week.